Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to Cider in the Orchard with Curlin Walsh Law. Today, we're going to talk about that darling new little grandbaby or grandbabies that you have that you're just madly in love with. Those little tots that connect the dots between the generations. So, a couple of considerations for you. Have you thought about perhaps how you have named those grandchildren in your will, your trust, or have you named them at all? You may very well, when you were doing your trust and you were asked about what, Lord forbid, if something should happen one of your children, you may have said, well, I would go to the other of my children. Now you might want to think if one of your children were to predecease you, that perhaps that share should go to their child or children. So review your own estate plan as to how that child might be taken care of. And beyond something happening to your child, you might even want to consider a little grandchildren's trust. It's a beautiful addition to your estate plan. You could decide maybe a small percentage, 5, 10, 15% of your estate, go to a grandchildren's trust just for them. We can name the babies that are born, include any future born. We can make sure that money is there for any supplemental needs to their parents, provision for them, often a focus on education, and it's just beautiful for them to know that you thought about them and included them in your estate plan. Another consideration, what about their parents' estate plan? You might want to talk to your children about how they have provided for those little children, because we're responsible for our children after they're born, whether we are there or not. So if your child has just had a baby, they're probably not thinking about anything other than when they're next going to get a shower, a bite to eat, or 5 minutes sleep. So you, grandma or grandpa, might be able to suggest to them that they could think about whom the guardian would be for the child should the disaster happen and mom and dad not be there to take care of the child. Maybe you would be the guardian. So you can suggest it, give them a little something to think about, and this might even be a nice little Christmas present for them. Simple wills, inexpensive, with trusts for their children and guardianship named in that will. Judges give great deference to whomever we have named in our wills when it comes to the care of minor children. Money, how do we fund any trusts that are put in place in a young person's will? Do you know how inexpensive it is to get a policy for a young couple who are healthy and maybe only in their 20s or 30s? You can get $1 million very inexpensively. So that's something you might be able to help your children think about. So now maybe they might get a will, naming guardians and a little trust. And now this policy could fund that trust so they can have tremendous peace of mind that if anything ever should happen to them, those children are going to be in the hands of someone who will love them like you do, and that they will have funds to raise and support them. One final little consideration would be perhaps to buy a little policy for the baby. You can get, again, a little policy for the baby, maybe over a 10-year period, you would pay for it, and then the child would have $25,000 for them to choose what to do with as they reach adulthood. Again, it shows your child and the baby that you're thinking about them, and it would make a wonderful Christmas present. So those are our considerations if you've got that darling new grandbaby. Just one little last piece of housekeeping. I am teaching a seminar on estate planning basics next week. It is November 4th at the Pales Heights Library. We do have limited seating in the library. We might be near to capacity, but it is also open to Zooms. So if you're interested in going, give us a call. If there's still a spot in the library, we'll save it for you. If not, we'll give you the link so that you can Zoom in. So I think that's everything for today. Thank you for watching, and join me next week for another Cider in the Orchard with Carolyn Walsh Law. Thanks.